Hey y'all, this is my very first spring garden season, and I've already learned a few things the hard way. So here are some quick tips I wish I knew before I got started. Let's grow together. Remember last year when I first started trying to do a little gardening? It was summer or midsummer, I might add. Pretty much everything was already planted. Hubby had pretty much, did everything. Everything was already out, and I was just mainly videoing what we already had out and harvesting and kind of taking you along on what we all had out there in the garden. But first off, one of the mistakes that I had was starting seeds at the right time. One of the mistakes that I went through was starting seeds too early indoors or waiting too long to place them outside. Which, let's see, I started those seeds probably in January, not January, end of January, first part of February. I had tried going ahead and starting my summer seeds or my spring seedlings or summer seeds, which are mainly peppers and tomatoes, because they take the longest to germinate. And I've mentioned in some previous videos of the problems that I was having, not knowing as a new gardener that pretty much not just peppers and tomatoes, pretty much all summer plants needs to germinate in a warm or hot climate. And that was a learning experience for me. Sometimes it helps to get you a gardening app or kind of read up on some of the seeds. I'm kind of getting quiet because there is a, what you call those, carpenter bees, because we have this poor area and it has that wood roof. I'm gonna try to, there it is right there. Yep, those are carpenter bees. But if you get your app or kind of read up on some of the seeds that you are planting to get a little information on those, especially when you're new, it's not all about just getting the seeds and planting them or getting your starts and planting them. It's more to it than just that. And another thing is during the spring months, spring weather is very unpredictable. And what I've learned is, you may go a whole week, the weather's pretty warm. The next week, the temperature may drop, just like it's done this week. The temperatures have dropped back at night around the 40s, low 40s, low to mid 40s, and the highs is pretty much running near like 70, 71, 72, or like 69. That plays a part with start when you have already started your seeds. If you did not start them indoors and you're just beginning to start planting outside, you have to be mindful of you know the cold, because with spring you're gonna have some cold snaps before the hot weather finally sets in, and those are especially the tomatoes and the peppers. Starting them too early or getting them out too early, and as well as others. And during the spring weather, you got the cold season crops. They thrive in this type of weather here. It's, even though they take the cold, but the weather here is still perfect. So that's why you can still carry over your winter vegetables on into the spring, because the weather is not too hot. And to give you an example of those is lettuce. You got spinach, radish, carrots, and peas, like sugar, like snap peas. You can still plant those because they have a pretty good growing season. Just like summer stuff is still pretty growing season. But because the weather is not hot and it's not cold, although they can tolerate the cold, but they can't tolerate this spring warm weather that we're having because it's not the July temperatures or the June or the August temperatures. So they can maintain those. But anything like peppers, eggplants, melons, you can start planting those, but you still always have to be mindful of the cold snaps that we have. Although the soil needs to be, you need to wait to plant those when the soil is warm. And although you can test your soil to see what temperature that they range from. So see, and another mistake is pests. Spring is the time that pests starts to wake up. Even though you would think that the mosquitoes are not out yet, I've been out in the garden today, and guess what? Mosquitoes. Because I had some water. Well, I wouldn't just say water, but because they are just out. Period. It don't have nothing to do with water that's sitting, but water sitting plays a part, like this bucket right here. And I had two buckets that I had sitting over here that I had water in them, and I saw the larva of the mosquitoes that had laid eggs in them, so I just nicely poured it out. But this right here, I try to keep a little water up here so we don't have to keep turning the water on. We try to catch rainwater to water just a few plants that we have laying around up here where we can hand water those. But also the need for soil prep before planting. Through the winter and last season's soil, you kind of want to save money. You want to use the soil that you already have used already. Do is just once you've cleared your plants or seedlings out of those and they have been sitting, don't toss that out. You can reuse that. All you got to do is just go back and amend. When I say amend, I mean add fertilizer, compost, whatever you need to do to help bring back some nutrients to the soil that have already left from previous plants. So also about the go back to talking about the pest, you got the companion planting. That's something that I'm learning as well. While as you're planting during the summer, you want to plant some marigolds. That's a companion planting with basil is a companion planting. Um, those the marigolds and the onions and stuff, they and the basils, they and it's a lot of other ones that's just what I know right offhand. Those help with worms, slugs, and aphids, as well as other things. But I just thought I would bring you all out in the garden today while I'm out here in the yard. I'm not really in the garden at the moment. I've been out there earlier, but I just thought I'd share these few tips, making sure you are prepping and are aware of some tips that I'm learning or have learned since I have been gardening. I'm still learning, and I just wanted to share with others that who may be new at gardening as well. It's good to collaborate with other gardeners because other gardeners, as well as doing a little research on your own, and sure that you work and check whatever information that you are getting that works in your zone. Find out which zone that you live in. There's information out there where you can just type in your zip code or your city and town or state or whatever that you are in, and it will give you a zone, your zone, and you just follow those guidelines of whatever zone that you are in. So I hope that this information um, help others, as new gardeners, as well as um, seasoned gardeners. We all think that gardening is easy, in which it is easy. You have your successes and you have your failures, but just get information, look up information. There's a lot of research out there to give you information about whatever it is that you want to plant. And you just got to put in the time and the effort to just sit back and read up on whatever it is that you are trying to do, because the information is out there. It's not going to just come to you. You got to get out and research and follow those guidelines. And then, like I say, it's not a right way or a wrong way on planting or gardening. It's just whatever works for you in your area. And um, whatever don't work this time, try another method. But just don't give up like I almost did when my seedlings did not germinate. And I'm like, what in the world? But, through it all, I'm keeping going. And one thing kind of feel like I'm behind because I have not put any plants or seedlings out in my area, my project area yet. But I'm so glad that I have not, because of the ant problem that I was going through, that I am going through, not have gone through, and as well as the change in the temperature. Like, it is very warm right now, but this morning the temperatures were down in the low 40s. So that was pretty cool. And it's pretty much going to be that way all week while we're out on spring break. I just knew I was going to be out here just working in the yard, which I am. But those cold temperatures have kind of slowed me down as far as um, putting my seeds out there. Just because what I plan on doing is just not seeding in containers. I want to direct sow some as well. And I'm still working on Dollar Tree stackable planters here. I have some lettuce in here that I have started. I still have some more that I have to do, and will be placing those out there in the garden. I'm just still trying to work on a setup. I somewhat have it all set on what I want to do or what I'm trying to do. Let's see if I can blow this up without having to walk out there. I, did my little spraying, not my spraying, but my ant pesticides to kind of help in that area a little bit before I get a move on out there. But I just wanted to come on and give you all a few tips on what I wish I had known, because I think this is actually my first spring season of planting or working on seeds. But like I said, last year when I first started back in June, everything was pretty much out, growing, been dealt with or whatever. And all I was doing was harvesting and showing you what we had and what was growing and what wasn't. And, you know, I didn't go through the process of planting or seeding at all. So it was already there when I jumped in. So now that I'm going through the whole process from beginning, now I'm really learning, what it's like to have a garden. And sometimes you see why people start from starts versus seeds, because seeds are very challenging. You never know if you have good seeds or bad seeds, or you go through the phase of don't have your seeds longer than a year. After a year, they're probably no good. That's one thing I don't believe, because a seed is a seed. If you don't have them years and years, that might be different. But just a year or a few months after the expiration date on there, yeah, I'm pretty sure that those seeds could possibly still be some good, because you can get some freshly seeds that still don't germinate. So to me, what's the difference? But that's just my theory. It gives you something to think about, because we don't never know, just because we buying it out of the store and it has an expiration date on it. We don't know how long they could have um, put it in a new packaging and those are old seeds. We don't know. So, we have to be mindful of a lot of things and not just think because we got it out the store and we bought it from this place or that place that, it's all good. But if you are still listening and are on, I thank you for joining me. I thank you for taking the time to listen. And as always, if you are new to my channel, please hit that like button and subscribe. And I will see you all on my next video.